Hello viewers. The 19th century British writer and historian John Ruskin once remarked that every person should try to find answer to three fundamental questions. Where did I come from? What am I? And where am I going? These three questions pertain to finding the meaning of life and destiny of man. And this question has been dealt with both by religions and philosophy in different ages. In history, there have been a number of interpretations of man and his destiny and the meaning of life. However, three interpretations stand out as prominent. These are the rationalistic interpretation, number two, spiritual and moral interpretation, and number three, the scientific interpretation. We will start with the rationalistic interpretation of man. Before we proceed, I would request you to kindly subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life. The rationalistic interpretation of man is essentially being prominent in the Western civilization, while in the Eastern civilization there has not been much importance to the rationalistic interpretation. The rationalistic interpretation originated in ancient Greece, continued in ancient Rome, almost died during the medieval period in Europe, which was an age of faith and also called Dark Ages. It was revived during the European Renaissance, which started in the 14th century, and it continued into the Age of Reason and Enlightenment down to the end of the 19th centuries. Now we will describe the key assumptions of the rationalistic view of man. Man is regarded as essentially rational. Nature also exhibits rational order like man. So there is a fundamental harmony between world of nature and man. Knowledge is virtue, and the wise man is the ideal man, the best man. So this view possesses full trust in the power of reason, and if man follows the path of reason, he can register progress continuously. So the rationalistic view is essentially an optimistic view. The key exponents of the rationalistic view were during the ancient Greece, there were Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and Stoics. During the modern period, they included Descartes, Leibniz, and Hegel. All of three were major philosophers. Descartes is generally regarded as the father of modern philosophy, and he is the author of the famous statement cogito ergo sum, that is, I think, therefore I am. Likewise, Leibniz believed in pre-established harmony, which according to him had a rational basis. And Hegel once famously remarked that real is rational and rational is real. However, there have also been prominent dissenting voices in the West regarding the rationalistic view. These included in ancient Greece philosophers like Democritus, Epicurus, and Stoics, who were struck by the brevity and irrationality and futility of life. During the modern periods, the major dissenting voices included the Scottish philosopher of the 18th century, David Hume, and the 19th century German philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer. Now we'll go to the second view, that is the spiritual and moral view. Understandably, this view has been majorly expressed by different religions, including the Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, Hinduism, and Zoroastrianism. Although these religions differ on different points, but here we will try to show you the major points on which they agree. So the key ideas of the moral come spiritual view of man is fundamental to this view is the relationship between God and man. However, God is defined The relationship between God and man is believed to be of fundamental importance, and man's uniqueness consists not in being rational, but in being a creature of God, and therefore spirit in man is regarded as more important than reason. Man is believed to be sinful or a victim of his desires. On the other hand, God is omnipotent and omniscient, so the only way man can overcome his weaknesses is to submit himself to God. The universe has a moral and spiritual purpose, of which man is the highest expression. Man has moral freedom, that is, he has the power to choose between good and evil. So, this religious view or the spiritual moral view, believes in the providential view of history. That is, whatever happens will be good, and at the end of the world there will be the triumph of good over evil. Now we passed on to the third view, that is naturalistic or scientific view. The author of these views are three. The three major authors. This included the astronomer and scientist of the Renaissance period, the Polish scientist Copernicus, who remarked that Earth is not in the center of the world, rather it revolves around the sun. Then came in 19th century Charles Darwin, which is with his Origin of Species, and he said that man is not a special creature even on Earth. That is, he has evolved from simple life forms. And in 20th century came Sigmund Freud, who told us that even within man, his mind is not the master of the house, and man is led by subconscious or unconscious desires and impulses. So the key notions of the scientific view are that man is part of the physical order of nature and is subject to its laws. Man is not a special creature, rather he is one among a million of species, and he has evolved from simple life forms. Life doesn't have or need a creator, nor does life has any inherent meaning or purpose. There is an endless series of cause and effect which makes moral freedom impossible, in the classical sense at least. Now all these three views have merits and demerits. So we will be now giving some final thoughts taking into account all these three views. No doubt man is not completely rational, as human history amply shows. He is more often than not led by irrational desires, drives, instincts, or whatever you call them. However, it can also not be denied that if we want to set up a secure society and civilization, then emotions or irrational drives must be controlled by reason. And man also must choose between right and wrong and good or bad and take a position, however he defines these concepts. Karl Marx was right in that religion can be the opium of the people. At the other end of the scale, religion can also be a dangerous instrument in the hands of the so-called soldiers of gods or jihadis. Religious wars have been common in the world, both in the West and in the East. At present, religious extremism is posing existential threat to human civilization. But on the other hand, religion, for example, the Iranian Revolution, which was inspired by religious ideals, has also been a source of struggle against absolutism, dictatorship, and monarchy. Maybe there is nothing wrong with religion, and if something is wrong, it is how a religion is interpreted. With all said and done, man may have different features which he shares with the world of animals and the world of nature, but he also has some uniqueness. And that uniqueness consisted in his being spiritual and his being self-conscious. Man has the power of reasoning and reflective thinking. He also has a sense of moral choice. When he is wrong, he knows that he is wrong. Man also lives a set of values, however these values are defined. He appreciates beauty and he also has faith in a higher power. However, this power is defined. It may be a personal God or an impersonal God. Man is also creative, the only creature who is creative, and man's creativity is expressed in art, science, philosophy, and religion. Man has the choice either to live on a simply biological level, like the Yahoos, or to transcend that level and lead a moral and responsible life. I would like to conclude this vlog with two quotations from William Shakespeare, both from his outstanding and probably the best play, Hamlet. Number one, there is a divinity that shapes our ends, and there is a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. I trust you like this video. Do share your comments with me, and please also subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life. Thanks for your time.